Then for the question C, same also, we're going to find its inverse function. Then we set domain and range. Then we get their graph on the same axis. Means do the reflection to get this F inverse graph. So firstly, look at our function. To get its F inverse, we'll use composite method. F inverse equals to X. So substitute the X with this F inverse. So this X will become F inverse minus 3. So we do cross multiplication. 2 over X will equals to F inverse minus 3. We find out our F inverse, it will be 2 over X plus 3. So this denominator cannot equal to 0. Then we're going to find what is domain and range. So domain of F inverse refer to the range of function. Range of F inverse refer to the domain of the function. So look at the graph here. The domain of the function. So usually for rational function, denominator cannot to be 0. So X cannot equals to 3. Some more. Condition from the question is say X must be greater than 3. So interval form, negative infinity until 3. Then 3 to infinity. So with the additional of the condition from the question, they just want more than 3. So our domain just remaining 3 to infinity. So the negative part here already excluded by the condition given from questions. So domain is 3 to infinity. It will be referred as the range of the inverse function. Then we continue. So since one part of the function already selected or already cancelled, so only one part of the function to be inverse, so we need to sketch to observe which part to be inverse. So this is rational. Supposedly it will have vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. So when x is not equal to 3, x equals to 3 supposed to be in vertical asymptote. When we close this rational function, proper fraction, y equals to 0 supposed to be its asymptote. So this rational is positive, so their graph is falling on left hand quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. So with the condition coming in, the condition of the question saying they just want the part more than 3 means only this part is going to inverse. So this part no longer involved in the inverse. Then we can see the range of the function will be different. So the range of the function after eliminate the part that we don't want, we follow the question. So we want this more than 3 only. As you can see, it's only have the minimum value is 0 up to infinity. So when we're going to do range, we're going to see from the bottom going up. So daripada bawah kita nampak paling minimum pun asymptote ini iaitu y kosong sehingga maximum infinity. So that will be our domain of the F inverse 0 to infinity. So now we're going to draw this function and get it to be inverse. X-axis and then y-axis, since we already know they just want this part only, where the function just more than 3 and the asymptote is y0, so your function x is falling at here. So this is our function. To get the inverse function, we do the reflection on y equals to x. So refract it carefully. First, we refract our vertical asymptote to be horizontal asymptote. So the touching point is here. So the refraction happen here. Your outcome supposed to be touching this point. So this is our vertical asymptote x equals to 3. So when it refract, it becomes horizontal asymptote y equals to 3. Then another asymptote which is y equals to 0. When you refract it, it will become vertical asymptote which is x equals to 0. So refract the asymptote first. Then only we refract the graph. So look at the graph here. So this is the refraction that we have. So graph ini adalah mengikut asymptote, follow the asymptote x equals to 3. So this side, when you refract this curve, you'll be getting this image. So this ending of the curve, you're going near to the asymptote, just like this part. So this part of the graph is reflected to get here. So for this part, you were getting your asymptote y equals to 0. So as you refracted, you were getting near to your x equals to 0. So this is our reflected part. So it will be a bit hardly to see symmetry if you're drawing like this freely. So what we will practice in the class is kita guna pensel, kita lukis, lepas tu kita ambil pembaris, you bawa protractor kamu yang 90 degree punya tu kan, kita buat 45 degree, kita lipat ini sebagai cermin pantulan, pasir pantulan dan kita pantul dalam kertas, kita tekan je, kita ikut je. We will copy exactly symmetry graph that be reflected out here. So we try it in the class later. So this one just give you an image that you can see how it will be, how this graph will be reflected. So f function, the blue color one is function. So the reflected one, yellow color, orange color will be f inverse. So label our function and don't forget origin. X-axis, y-axis, okay, done. So make sure if you draw this freely, make sure your refraction is symmetry, and the refraction point happen on the point where your object touch your axis of symmetry. So let's say I say just now, your vertical asymptote dia sentuh sini, maka di sinilah at here we will get an image of refraction. So di sinilah kita akan dapat refraction. So kalau graf ini sentuh sini, maksudnya di sinilah dia akan dapat satu refraction. Dari sini pantul dapat sini. So daripada sini pantul dapat sini. So jangan lari tempat. If your lari means your graph will not accurate anymore.